And anyways, the new battery shooting.
I will call the meeting to order. It is 6 o'clock. First thing we'll have is the public hearings section. Would you please read the public hearing?
Oh, yep. Arnie Nystrom, doing business as Grand Rapids Lions Club Incorporated. We request a conditional use permit to allow for the operation of temporary carnival events at 2411 36th Street South in the town of Grand Rapids, Wisconsin, parcel number 0700662BA in section 22, township 22 north, range 6 east, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin.
That is the public hearing we're going for. So the first thing we want to do is have people who want to speak again. I do this a little different, against it first, because that way they're the person that is putting it on can answer some of the questions then. So those speaking against the public hearing, please say now. Is there anybody that wishes to speak against? Anybody that wishes to speak against? One more time. Anybody wishing to speak against? Those speaking in favor of, is there anyone who wants to speak in favor?
I'm here on behalf of the Lions Club. My name is John Krings. I'm the second vice president. We had the carnival the last couple years in affiliation with the Cranberry Blossom Festival. And this year they approached the club about taking over ownership of the event because they didn't have the staff to do it. So we're hosting the carnival in June, at the same time as the Cranberry Blossom Festival. We're also going to have a concert on Saturday night with a tribute band for REO Speedwagon. So it'll be a fundraiser for the club, and the carnival seems to be a big hit with people in town. So it's went well the last couple of years.
Anybody else to speak in favor? I have a question. Is this just for 1 year?
I believe it'll be an annual event. I think Arnie requested that up to 2 carnivals a year because the owner of the carnival asked about coming back in September. And at this point, we're non-committal because we want to see how this goes in June. Obviously, we have to make some money doing it or we're not interested in continuing. But as far as the carnival with the Cranberry Blossom Festival, I think that will be an annual event. That's the plan.
Thank you.
And I can probably add some clarity to that. So by our ordinance, we have a requirement that those carnival events be subject to a conditional use permit, which is why we are here this evening. In the consideration of the conditional use permit, the Plan Commission considered a number of things. One of those were a request for 2 events in a year. You'll see a resolution later in the agenda for your consideration, but to your point directly, Mr. Chair, would be the statement that, so you set a term for any recommendation of approval. In that recommendation, the Plan Commission set a term of 2 years with the idea that this would be reevaluated at that time.
In the month of October 2025.
Is there anybody else that have any questions? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing at 6:03. Thank you. Now I have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the agenda or the approval? Hearing none. Approval of the minutes. Could I have a motion, please, on the minutes of the previous
I
meeting?
can make a motion to approve April 11th meeting minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. I have one thing. I made a mistake when I said in, I think it's item number 11, when I said that the next Towns Association county unit meeting would be in the town of Rock. It's going to be in the town of Rudolph.
Oh, okay. So Rudolph instead
Yes.
of Rock.
But I know I said Rock because I heard about it after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all we have. Is there any, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, aye, and it is unanimous. Let the minutes show that, as far as I know, Jeremy is excused. Jason is not here. Did he call to say he wouldn't be here?
Jeremy, he checked with Jeremy and Jeremy approved it.
For his excuse.
Yes.
Okay, so, okay, thank you. Let the minutes reflect that then, okay? Most of them are excused. Public comment. People who wish to address the board will be limited to 2 minutes each. Public comment limited to a total of 30 minutes. Is there anybody wishing to make a public comment? Okay, and your name, please?
My name is Douglas Kiesling. I think I've read that the project on 48th Street in Griffith is going to be delayed until next year. Can I ask why that is?
Yes, it is going to be delayed, and there was a decision made at the county highway department.
It was what?
A decision made at the county highway department to delay it. And the reason why they're delaying it is to get more grant money,
Okay.
because the grant season was over with now, and Roland Hawks is going to try to get more money.
Okay. So it's still intended to go forward, oh, is that correct?
That's what I heard at the meeting, that was, yes.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? And we'll move on now. Monthly reports from departments. Fire department.
Evening, board and residents. Report for April of '23. We're currently staffed with 45 members. 5 are non-structural, 8 EMS only, total of 20 trained to do EMS. We're always looking for good people. Anybody know anybody? We're always willing to take new people on board. Calls for service in the month of April. We had 46 calls for service consisting of the following. We had 28 EMS calls and we had 18 fire calls. Of those 18 fire calls, 7 were in Grand Rapids, 5 in Saratoga, and 6 were mutual aid. Our mutual aid calls consisted with, we had requests from Buren, Wisconsin Rapids, Rudolph, and Nakusa. We had 1 motor vehicle accident, 1 gas leak smell, 6 wildland brush calls. A little bit of that was that red flag. Some of those were burning complaints. Vehicle fire, power line. We had 2 special requests from the PD to assist with traffic, to assist Grand Rapids PD. Training information, the EMS squad went through the new squad truck orientation, call reviews, and we organized our supply cupboards. Fire was pumping fill sites and ladder truck setup. 1 morning, 1 evening. The department held, so we held 1 department meeting, 3 training meetings, 1 officer meeting. For public relation in April, all small equipment got its oil changes by our crew. All trucks have been washed and waxed. That Friday, the 19th or whatever, we did a truck wash and wax pizza party. Our Easter egg hunt was a success again this year. And this month, coming up on May 24th, we'll be hosting another Versity blood drive. I should have put the hours down. I'm guessing 11 to 4 or something like that. We'll have that out on our Facebook pages when it gets closer. Smoke detectors, we're still hot and heavy with smoke detectors with our Red Cross program. Captain Ski did 8 homes last month. And address signs are starting to pick up now. We installed 4 last month, and there's going to be about 6 more coming in. So those are slow and steady. Our safety department, there was no injuries to report. So, any questions from the?
Yes, I know this happened in May, but can you bring up the firefighters memorial and what went on there? with Riley.
Oh, yes, Riley Harris was recognized at Emmitsburg, Maryland this weekend for the National Firefighters Memorial. His family went out there to take in the weekend. I went to Milwaukee Sunday afternoon and attended Milwaukee Fire Department, invited me down. They did a service for Riley and the 2 firefighters from Mineral Point that got killed in that accident last year. Pretty cool ceremony, and then they lit up the Hone Bridge red. So that was really nice. We got a crazy good welcome from Milwaukee Fire Department. Chief Lipsky was extremely down to earth. He was such a great host. After the ceremony, he had his engine company one bring up the fire boat, and they took us out on their fire rescue boat and took us right underneath the Hone Bridge so we could take pictures. And so that was really cool being able to get out on the water for a few minutes and do that. So.
If you don't mind, I'd like to stand a moment in silence for Riley and the other 2 gentlemen.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I knew Riley and his family real well.
Okay.
Worked with his dad in the mill.
Yes, I think the Harris family was reluctant to go, but with the help of Chief Miner out in Pittsville, I think he convinced them. I did get a text message from Kevin that him and Tammy were very glad they went, so he'll tell me more later. But anything else from the board? Or residents, I guess, either way? Okay, thank you.
Chief?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, for the month of April, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 351 calls for service, and that compares to 278 calls for service in April of last year, about a 26% increase in calls, and board members have a breakdown of those calls for service. The police department issued 51 traffic citations, 13 municipal ordinance citations, 29 written warnings for the month of April. On April 11th, I participated in the Law Enforcement Recruit Academy interviews at Mid-State Technical Institute in Stevens Point. That was an opportunity to get a preview of the students that were applying to begin their career in law enforcement and start the Wisconsin Recruit Academy this fall. On April 22nd, the Grand Rapids Police Department, Grand Rapids Auxiliary Police, Wisconsin Rapids Police Department, the Wood County Sheriff's Office, and the Wood County Health Department hosted a prescription drug take-back event at the Pick and Save here in Wisconsin Rapids. Between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., 4 hours, they were able to collect 198.8 pounds of unwanted, expired, and unused pharmaceuticals at the collection site, which was in front of Pick and Save. This compared to just over 94 pounds collected at last year's April event. In addition, the Grand Rapids Police Department collected 40 pounds of the unwanted, expired, and unused pharmaceuticals at our drop box right at the front counter there in the front office. These unused medications were then boxed and transported to Wausau for proper disposal. And I'd like to thank the Pittsville Police Department for their services in transporting those medications to Wausau. On April 25th and 26th, officers of the Grand Rapids Police Department completed Emergency Vehicle Operators course, EVOC training at the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department Range House. All officers of the Grand Rapids Police Department have now completed their mandatory biannual training as prescribed by the Wisconsin Department of Justice Training and Standards Bureau. Vehicles in the department are doing well outside of normal maintenance. And once again, feel free to stop by my office anytime if you have any questions or concerns. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Treasurer.
Okay, for the month of April, our receipts were $243,883.09. Our disbursements were $89,768.82. Currently in our day-to-day checking account, we have $106,907.37. In our repo account, we have $630,292.20. In our money market at Prevail Bank, we have $330,144.69. Our ARPA account balance is $672,350.72. And our tax accounts have a balance of $451.26. Not used to saying the little ones. For a total overall balance of $1,740,146.24.
Any questions? Hearing none, thank you. Okay, number 6 on the agenda is consider and possible action on resolution 2023-04, conditional use permit for Arnie Nystrom, Grand Rapids Lions Club, to allow for a operation of temporary carnival event at 2411 36th Street South, parcel number 0700662BA. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution 2023-04. However, there's one correction in a typo in paragraph where it says resolved. The fire number has an extra 3 in there, if that can be corrected. It says 32411, 36th Street.
What should it be?
It'd be like,
2411, okay,
yeah, if you can make that 2411, it currently says
okay.
32411.
So just for the record, then, she's moving to adopt that as amended.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes, and it is a unanimous decision. Thank you. Item number 7, consider and possible action on bids for gravel.
Yeah. One in. Do you want me to open it?
Yes.
Okay.
Never touched by me.
And is from Bone Trucking and Excavating Incorporated. And Bone Trucking and Excavating Incorporated agrees to supply and haul 3/4-inch fractured rock gravel base at $13.90 per ton for approximately 500 tons in the town of Grand Rapids.
I can make that motion to accept that bid.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept the bid. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you. Consider impossible action on police officer training request for instructor development training in Janesville for 5/30, the 5th month to 30th day, 2023 to 6/2 of 2023. What is the board's?
I can make the motion to approve the Officer Backlund's training for the instructor development training program from 5:30 to 6/2.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion?
I do have a question. Is this an instructor training course in order to instruct individuals? Or I guess when I was reading it, I didn't get a sound explanation at what the training course is.
Any officer that wants to become an instructor in any of the course studies, this is the first step in the process. They have to go through this instructor development course first, and then after they've completed that, then they can pick out, for example, EVOC, firearms, any other vehicle contacts, then they can go out and whatever kind of specialty that they want to instruct in. So, yeah, they have to do this first by state standards before they can go on to any of the other instructor.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and it is again unanimous. Item number 9 is consider and possible action on updating quotes for key fob and security cameras for the municipal building. Who is here to present that?
Well, I can speak a little to it. So, when we did the meeting with ARPA funds, we had the quote from last year, and so got a new quote, and it's $8,206.69 more than what it was then. So we just need to decide if we're still okay with moving forward with that, with using ARPA funds. It's just a difference in 1 year for quotes.
So we only had one bid?
We had 2 quotes, and at the time, we went with the one that was lost. So that's the one I asked for a new quote from.
I was talking to the people that do the IT here, and they said that they were upset that they weren't asked. Was that? Were they included in the ask, or would they be, or should they be?
We just had somebody come through. Mel, you walked someone through for the cameras and key fobs and...
Last year, I thought we had 3. I thought we had 3
We had
people.
2. It was 2.
Two, okay.
Mhm.
I know that our current IT people have that capability as well. I thought they were informed of it last year, but I may be mistaken. But like I said, my involvement had to do when these different vendors came through to inspect this building, the fire department, and the municipal garage. I just showed them around the premises and explained to them, what we wanted on all the doors, which buildings, and then of course over at the municipal garage, how we would set that up, because currently there's no Wi-Fi accessibility out there at the municipal garage. So I just kind of showed them around of what we were looking at. So
So is there a recommendation from your committee?
We were putting it on the town board agenda to decide if we would move forward, since it was an ARPA discussion.
Right, and I can explain kind of why this came to the town board.
Okay, go ahead.
So at the meeting that was held on the 25th of January, the town board considered a number of ARPA expenditures, right, projects. Made the decision with 2 separate motions to allocate ARPA funds for those 2 projects. The 2 projects being the key fob card project and CCTV cameras. In the reporting that needs to be done in April, I then would correctly note it as a obligated, not an expended, but an obligated amount in line with what you obligated here. When we went to move forward with the project, as I understand it, they came back and said that was a dated quote, and that the price was adjusted. Because of that, it needs to come back to, so the recommendations already came for the 2 that I think had submitted quotes and was deliberated, decided ultimately by the town board to go with this company. Because it's different now, you all need to make a decision on if you want to still go through with the project with the updated quote, or exactly what to do with it. And not only that, but you should also, if you do decide to go through with it, or proceed with the updated amounts, that you do so in two motions. And the reason for that is because that's what we had previously. I would need to then, next year, amend our ARPA report to reflect the difference, and I want to be able to trace that back and really build that paper trail, if you will. So it has been reported already as an obligated amount at these amounts that you see in the packet. Because it's different, and we can't move forward with it without approving some other funds to come from somewhere. That's why it's back at this committee, is because we're not necessarily considering going with somebody else as much as we are really having to reconsider the two that were approved at different quoted amounts because of the update.
What is the board's pleasure?
I was just looking at
Addition.
the percentage of increase on the two. For the key fob, that's an 8% increase. On the cameras, that's a 12% increase. And it would end up being $8,200 or $8,206.69 increase from what we had originally figured. I don't know if that's a reasonable percent increase for IT, is my question. I know like cost of living has gone up approximately 8%. Have you had additional conversation with Complete to maybe see if there were, where the increases actually came from? Other than
Yeah, he just said within a year, that's just how much it's increased. He went through everything again, and that's where that was the amount that it went up for each of the doors and cameras and stuff that was looked at.
And my question also, with this company, if we go with this, does that include the internet service and everything for the town garage? Is there a different setup that we don't have to have, and then another additional cost with the town garage getting internet and whatever else? Is that part of this? I guess I wasn't there to.
I believe that was part of it. You went with him, right, out there? Or that was a year ago. Yeah.
Most of in my discussions when we went through, however long ago it was, was that both companies, as I recall, said you would have to set up some type of Wi-Fi out there in order to accommodate a security system for that building. And I think that's minuscule compared to what the amount of, in the dollar amount of equipment you got sitting in there. I think you need something there other than a key in the lock.
No, my question was just if they were going to be setting up all that, we just had to do
that. I don't know, because I never saw what the final bids included.
I can probably speak to that.
Thank
As
you.
I take a look at the quotes that you have, I would just draw your attention to a couple different statements. So there are certain network interfaces that are included in this quote, but if you look at the asterisk areas, there's references to providing power and also one network connection for system communication. The network connection for system communication, I think, is what is being referenced.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's included in this?
No.
Oh, it's not.
Just like the power is our responsibility, the network communication is our responsibility. There's a certain interface devices that are included though in that quote.
With dealing with the jail at the county level and other things we're doing, everything's going up. And it is 12%. I mean, we started out at 56,000, ended up with 56 million, and now it's 98 million. So I'm going to make a motion to go ahead with it.
I'll second that.
Well, can I just ask, so if you could just make your motion, I think you should do two motions, only because we did that previously, and I want to be able to trace that back. So when you say go ahead with it, are you talking about first the key fob
Yes,
access?
the first one up on the,
Thank you.
and we do have a second,
I'll second.
and we have a second. Are there any more discussion?
I have one more question. Then the additional funds are gonna be taken from what?
So I can speak to that one too. So that's a good opportunity just to speak to the way the ARPA report works and how the ARPA funds kind of exist at this exact moment. So during ARPA reporting, there are two referenced areas, and so you probably hear me say it all the time. There's obligations and there's expenditures, right? Technically, if you look at the results of that meeting that we had on January's date, there are also earmarked funds. We talked about earmarking funds. Those, from the reporting purposes, are not reported. Earmark just means that it's intended to use it for a specific purpose. So it's a good question. The only answer that I would have would be it could come from ARPA, because we have certain amounts that are earmarked. We have, for example, earmarked amounts right now for purposes of what isn't in our report, but we talked about earmarked amounts. We have earmarked amounts for the roundabout projects, because we never got total amounts for that. And then we also have earmarked amounts for just a general placeholder for road projects. So you have a set of ARPA funds right now that are technically earmarked, but you could make the decision to obligate ARPA funds, and I would just ask that to be part of the motion if you're doing that.
I will make it part of my motion, unless somebody wants to amend it, but I will make that part of my motion. You
To,
believe?
Yep, second.
That's just the funds.
So you're saying that the motion is to take it out of the roads budget? Or the earmarked
No.
funds?
Earmarked.
Yeah, earmarked ARPA funds.
Yes.
So you have a first and a second, but yes, we need to vote.
Any other
on that.
discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Is there any nay votes? Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, now we have the second part of it. Somebody make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the additional funds for the CCTV cameras to be taken out of the earmarked ARPA funds.
I will second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Unanimous. Are you satisfied? Okay. Operator license applications. Are there any?
We have 3 of them. You want me to read them?
Yes, please.
Kevin Kruger from Tri-City Golf Course, Hannah Kundert from The Store, and Sophia Weiberg from Tri-City Golf Course. Those are all for 1 year.
You can make a motion to approve them as presented.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes. Have it. Okay, next is the operator, April disbursement. There's been an email went around asking that, I have on my voucher, I have the roundabout meeting. That day I attended a meeting in Madison, And the meeting in Madison was from 8 in the morning until we got out of there at 1:20. It was 2 o'clock scheduled for it. I came home, and then three and a half hours later, I came to this meeting. And chairman has made a request to have the clerk erase mine, but I see it isn't. It's been circled, and it says 5 meetings. So what is the committee's, no, the town's wishes? Board.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers as presented.
I will second that.
I have a question about that. So that means with Jeremy's request to remove it, or with how it is before Jeremy's request to
Oh,
approve it?
as the vouchers as presented, that it was not removed
With
from
the
the
5
vouchers.
per
Yeah,
diems? Okay.
with the 5.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want, you had indicated that you did go to that meeting in Madison, and you did not have the roundabout meeting on the March voucher. So it's not like you were.
Correct.
Okay, I just want clarification.
Yeah.
So this is the first time that you have the roundabout meeting on the
Yes.
vouchers? Okay. And,
It was the 30th of,
yeah, and we all had gotten paid for going to the roundabout vouchers, those that attended. And your Madison meeting was approved, so.
I have a question about that too, though. So in Jeremy's email, though, so the roundabout meeting was within a certain time frame of that meeting, so we can't count both meetings? Is that?
yeah, I believe that's what he's indicating, that my travel time included my meeting. Well, even if my travel time did include the meeting, I was home. I was home by, I would say, 2:45 at least. Meeting was at 5:30. But the
Okay,
meeting ended. I have this at the county board. When does the meeting end? And then you have certain time before the other one.
So there was a 2-hour,
Yeah.
2-hour time frame, where if we attend a meeting within, what is it, 2 hours?
2 hours.
2 hours,
It's 2 hours.
then we can't get paid for 2
And
meetings.
travel
so
doesn't count, it's the end of the
I
meeting.
guess
to-
it doesn't really
No.
clarify that in our,
Yeah, I
In
don't know
our-
that that's clarified, but I
No.
also am hearing from the chair that that travel time, exclusive of that, right? That it was still, he's saying, 2 hours passed. And so I think his statement is that 2 hours had elapsed since the vehicle pulled in the driveway, so to speak, and this meeting.
When I had been at a conference for Monday, Tuesday, and come home Wednesday, and Tuesday was a meeting of the town board, I would come home from Madison. I came home from another place one time to have, for the town board meeting, got paid for it, got paid for being there all day, and nothing was ever said about that. I got paid for 2 meetings, and the next day I still had that same meeting. So I don't see any violation here at all. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed,
I'm gonna oppose to
Okay.
respect Jeremy's wishes.
motion is carried 2-1. Thank you. Monthly reports from committee. First of all, Public Works. In Public Works, I don't know, neither one of them are here, but are we gonna have a road ride? Has anybody heard about?
I have not. We should get one scheduled, especially when we have our lead person retiring soon, and he's usually helps direct that road ride.
That's all I have, and I don't think they've met. I don't think Public Works has met. Airport Commission, they met but Jeremy wasn't there. He was there by phone, and Jason was not there, so. But they did meet because I was at the meeting. Recycling, solid waste, and water.
We have not met, but I want to plan on having our committee meet soon.
Plan Commission.
We met last night and we had 2 chicken permit on the agenda, 2 dog exemption, an approval for a 2 certified survey maps, and we also went through an electronic variable message display and also a recommendation for a zoning application for a commercial property. And that's about it.
Public buildings.
We did meet, we had a number of items that we're getting quotes on, so those will come to the town board at some point, and we'll continue to keep everybody updated on those pieces.
The only thing I'm lacking of the 5 things that I have is the phones yet. I have not gotten the right connection yet with phones, and so.
Okay.
But otherwise, the other things are in the works.
Okay.
Public safety, economic development.
We have not met, however, all of the trail signs are in, and we do want to get the new trail open by Memorial Weekend, so looking at getting those signs put in place.
Do you have any connection with Boz, who is with the Village of Port Edwards administrator?
Yeah, that's where the trail signs came from.
Yeah,
They
right.
wrote a grant, yep.
He had a thing at our seed committee meeting at the county and talking about these trails.
Mhm.
And then a lot of people are involved in it, everybody but the city of Wisconsin Rapids.
Right, they have separate signs, they had different grant funding to do their signs, so all the other municipalities are through the grant funding through the seed committee that the Village of Port Edwards had.
Personnel committee,
We have been meeting, I don't have any updates at this time, but we're just continuing to meet with employees.
WTA meeting. The meeting was held April 21st, 2023. It was hosted by the town of Rock. Heather Garrett from Wood County Treasurer's Office was the speaker, and her office handles all monies coming into the county, procedures, and all the tax bills for the municipalities of Wood County and numerous other things. And I think she does a good job. A lot of the treasurers that were there, and there was 5 treasurers at the meeting too, and they commented on, like, I don't know if we've had any problems, but she's a good one to get a hold of. Steve Dickerson and Jack were town association directors. They both talked about board of review training being held and in April, and I think 3 of us went to that from here. Did you go to board of review training?
No.
And then Donna Rosar, she was present, and she talked about shared revenue in the state budget. And I've heard a lot about this shared revenue there too. It looks like they're finally going to be giving towns a little more money than they have in the past, and it's going pretty good now. I and a couple other people were on the phone with Krug about something that's going on at the county level, so, and we got touched on that today, so. The elections were held at it. Randy Neiman is the town of Rudolph chairman, from the town of Rudolph, is chairman of the county unit meetings. Bill Clendetti, myself, I'm the vice chair, and Sandra Neiman from the town of Siegel is the secretary. The next meeting is going to be held May 19th in the town of Rudolph, and the speaker is Jeff Kirsten from the Division of Trade and Consumer Protection, and he's going to be speaking about how scams with town officials and members of the public, how the scams are just getting worse and worse. So he's gonna talk about that. So that's about it. And you all get a copy of the minutes of that because they're sent right out from the secretary now.
Can I ask you a question?
Huh?
I just want to clarify. So you met at the town of Rock, but the next one's at Rudolph?
Yes.
You corrected your minutes, though. I had the town of Rock as the next one, and you corrected them tonight to change this last one to Rudolph. So which is correct?
I said the next meeting will be held at the town of Rock. No, it won't. It'll be held at the town of Rudolph.
Yeah, but this was the minutes from the April meaning, so what was the one at the end of April? That would be what this would be. So that would be Rock, so that means this is
Yeah,
correct then?
yeah.
Okay, so the minutes don't need to be adjusted?
Don't it say that the recent meeting was in the town of
Yeah,
Litchfield?
but this is our last board meeting minutes, so on April 11th, you reported on the Richfield, and you said the next one would be Town of Rock, so you were right, because then
Yeah.
the next one was the Town of Rock. So you were
Okay.
correct on your first, so the minutes don't need to be changed, so. Okay.
Correct.
Call her and tell her that, okay?
I don't care if my minutes are correct, I don't care about what else.
Right.
Okay, moving on to the report of individual board members. Patty?
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Nothing.
And item number 14 is public. You two get asked if you have anything, right? Oh. How about you, Nick?
No.
Okay, future agenda items? Oh, no, first we gotta have public input. Anybody wishing to speak and address the board, limited to 2 minutes? Is there anybody? Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Future agenda items?
I have two possible ones. One, just to be aware that we may have a public hearing and resolution for a conditional use permit for the electronic variable message display that Patty had referenced. That is somewhat dependent on getting the application, but provided we get the application, we will likely have that item on the next agenda.
Yes, thank you.
Second would be potentially having we received some notification regarding the roundabout here on Kellner Road and compensation amount that I think now reflects a sign. You'll probably want to have that on your agenda as well.
Bring that to the June.
I think so, yeah. I don't think we've had prior approval because that adjustment, that was going to be adjusted, so I think we'll want to bring that to the next meeting.
Okay, if there's no objection, I will adjourn the meeting.
Sounds good.
Meeting is adjourned at 6:47. Thank you for coming.